Hello, welcome to Thor Talk, the show all about Marvel's resident god of thunder. On this episode of Thor Talk, we finally see it, the death of Jane Foster. What else could you possibly ask for on Thor Talk?
I am Thor the Thunderer, son of Odin, prince of Asgard, and this world is under my protection.
Thor, number 705, was written by Jason Aaron and published in March of 2017. The story begins many months ago, with Jane talking to Heimdall on Asgardia. Jane tells Heimdall that she keeps hearing a voice calling to her, and she requests that Heimdall take her there. Heimdall uses the Bifrost to transport Jane to the moon, where she finds and picks up Mjolnir. In the present, Jane hits Mangog with a mighty swing from that Uru hammer, launching the beast into a statue of Odin, and uses lightning to melt it on top of Mangog. Odin tells her that nothing can stop Mangog, not even their deaths, but she is welcome to die trying, just to be sure. Jane tells them that they need to evacuate Asgardia, because Mangog has set it on a collision course with the sun. Jane prepares to stall Mangog while they get to safety, but Thor confronts her, furious that she took up the hammer once again, as picking it up again will kill her. Mangog rises, and Jane tells the gods to go, saying that the world needs gods it can believe in. Mangog tackles Jane, and the Asgardians begin evacuation, but Thor refuses, so Freya tells the guards to drag him to the ship if they have to. Mangog beats down on Jane, saying that he sees it in Jane's eyes. She hates the gods too, and he tells her all she has to do is let him kill them. Jane refuses and uppercuts Mangog and throws him into the sun. But Mangog comes charging back, destroying the Asgardians' escape ship and crashing into Jane. While the other Asgardians head towards the moon, Thor jumps on Toothgrinder and heads towards the battle. Mangog has Jane wrapped up in his enormous tail and begins to crush her, but Thor steps in and chops off Mangog's tail with a mighty swing of his axe. Mangog grabs the two and slams Jane into a wall, where she conveniently finds chains lying on the ground. She wraps Mjolnir in the chains and throws it at Mangog, wrapping up him in the chains. Jane reveals that these chains are the ones that were used to bind the wolf Fenris until Ragnarok. Jane then throws Mjolnir, which is wrapped in the chains and has Mangog wrapped in the chains as well, and she sends both Mangog and Mjolnir hurling into the sun. There is thunder, and then there is silence. Thor is enraged and screams, "You killed Mjolnir! You just killed you!" Jane starts to change back and die. Thor says they need more time. Jane tells him not to waste what little time they have. Thor desperately replies that he knows not what to say. Jane tells him to say goodbye, and the two kiss as Jane turns back and Asgardia is engulfed in flames. It then explodes as the Asgardians watch helplessly. Freya suggests that there's a chance that they made it out before the explosion. Odin disagrees, hanging his head low, saying they both feel it, the chill of death in the air. But then there is a mighty crash on the moon, as Thor lands, holding the lifeless body of Jane Foster, dead at last. Well, it figures that Jason Aaron would figure out a way to mess this up. Sure, Jane is finally dead, and the true Thor will return soon, but this couldn't have been executed much worse. How does Jane die? By killing Mjolnir. How does she do that? By throwing it into the sun. Now, let me remind everyone for just a second that Thor, while holding Mjolnir, has stood in the core of the sun for an extended period of time. Neither was affected by being in the single hottest part of the sun in any way, shape, or form. In fact, Thor had a battle with his half-brother in the core of the sun, and you're trying to tell me that throwing Mjolnir into the sun will destroy it. Just like that. No, not just destroy it, kill it, because according to the new origin that Jason Aaron made for Mjolnir, Mjolnir is alive. So Jane didn't just heroically sacrifice herself to save everyone else, no. She sacrificed herself and sacrificed Mjolnir. Oh, and let's not forget something else that Jason Aaron seems to have forgotten. When Mjolnir was broken earlier, Doctor Strange repaired it, but in order to do so, he had to tie it to Thor's life essence. Doctor Strange explained that this means if Mjolnir was ever destroyed or badly damaged again, Thor would die. Now, obviously I don't want Thor to die, I'm just saying that he technically should be dead, and it was never addressed in any way, shape, or form. Also, what's with Jane saving the day by conveniently finding the chains that bound Fenris? I mean, it would be one thing if this was set up in an earlier story, or maybe Jane acknowledged the chains earlier, but nope, she just sees them for the first time and goes, oh, those are the chains that binded Fenris. Let's use them to make a suicide pact with Mjolnir. Still, I'm not going to let stupidity ruin such a great moment. Jane is finally dead and Thor will soon return. I have a song that I have been saving for this day of triumph when Jane Foster's reign of terror finally ended. Let's hear it. Well, that's all for this episode of Thor Talk. If you want to keep up with Thor Talk and all Thor-related news, follow Thor Talk on Instagram at Thor Talk. You can also keep up with and support Thor Talk by simply subscribing. Once again, I'd like to formally state that all art and videos owned by its respected companies, and I own none of it. With that said, see you next time on Thor Talk, where...
You'll be holding